I would like to say I'm here on special appearance. No, I think I have some rights here. That I'm a living soul. I am not the straw man of the all caps. Okay.
We'll get to that in a moment.
So I am waiving
the time.
I am not waiving any of my rights.
Ma'am.
What statutes or what law or what are you saying here are the charges? Because this does not match. Sorry, I have cotton mouth so bad.
It's really quite simple. When you have an order to show up for court and you turn in a cut up piece of paper of it to say you're refusing to attend, that this is what happens next. That's pretty simple.
Oh, did that offend you? Excuse me. I probably have more degrees than you do.
A sovereign citizen, Karen, absolutely loses it in court, and things go off the rails right from the start. She's cutting off the judge, shouting over everyone, and spewing typical sovereign citizen nonsense, like claiming she doesn't consent to the proceedings and calling herself a free citizen of the land, as if that holds any legal weight. It's complete chaos, and the courtroom feels more like a circus. The wildest part? The judge is surprisingly calm and lets her rant instead of shutting it down hard. You'd expect a stronger response, but the judge just tries to keep things under control without escalating. I won't spoil everything, but this one's a roller coaster. Let me know your take on how the judge handled it. Too soft or playing it smart? Now let's jump into the video and watch this Karen spiral in real time. You've got to see this courtroom meltdown for yourself.
All right, good morning. We are on the record in the 89th District Court for the County of Sheboygan. We're conducting the physical hearing upstairs in the circuit courtroom. It's being clerked by the 89th District Court staff down in that courtroom. And we're here in the case of In re Beth Bridgman on a contempt matter. It was filed in an underlying criminal case 23-0868 SD. We are providing public access both in the courtroom, in the circuit courtroom, and also online. Counsel, you want to state your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Paige Miller on behalf of the people.
Attorney Eric Villanueva appearing as a Raymond attorney on behalf of Beth Bridgman.
Right, good morning,
Also, I will represent myself.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll get to that.
I would like to say I'm here on special appearance.
Okay.
No, I think I have some rights here. I don't know.
What does special appearance mean to you?
It means in a common law that I'm a living soul. I am not the straw man of the all caps.
And you'll have an opportunity at a later time. Please just take a seat.
I've never seen those opportunities come back around. Thank you. Okay.
We'll get to that in a moment.
So
but
I am waiving
the time.
I am not waiving any of my rights.
I honestly feel bad for these lawyers. This is not what they went to law school for. You can see it all over this guy's face. He's one deep breath away from completely losing it. And honestly, who could blame him? This lady is just radiating bad vibes from the jump. Not only is she a full-on Karen, but she's also a sovereign citizen. You really can't make this stuff up. Absolute courtroom chaos. And the lawyers are just stuck in it. Clips.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Bridgman, you're free to stand or sit, whichever you're more comfortable with.
I don't know how I would pull a chair up, so thank you.
Well, if you want to sit that, I have no problem. All right.
Thank you.
All right, well, Ms. Bridgman, you're here for an arraignment on 2 allegations of contempt. So I have to advise you of what those are. The first was an order to show cause that I signed on December 13th, 2023, which alleges that you are in criminal contempt of court for the unauthorized practice of law and for preventing the defendant, Seth Flores, from meeting with the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission attorney prior to his arraignment. We scheduled that for a show cause hearing on December 20th. You did apparently appear in the courthouse that day and turned in a copy of the show cause cut into strips with the red lettering on it. Says your offer to contract is not accepted. And then you did not appear at that show cause hearing. So therefore I signed a warrant for your arrest for that non-appearance. So that warrant alleges that you are in criminal contempt for failing to appear at that show cause.
So,
Failing to appear for order to show cause on Wednesday, December 20th, 2023 at 11 a.m. for preventing defendant Seth Miguel Thomas Flores from meeting with MIDC attorney prior to his arraignment. So those are the two contempt citations pending against you. You have the right to have a hearing on both of those allegations, where your contempt would need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to present evidence in your own defense and cross-examine and challenge any of the evidence presented against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you qualified and requested, you have the right to an attorney appointed at public expense. The MIDC provides an attorney for your arraignment today, just as a courtesy and as required by a
what is
statute.
MIDC?
Michigan Indigent Defense Commission.
You also, of course, have the right to represent yourself. Do you know? Well, first, do you comprehend the penalties? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. So both those contempt citations, if you are found to be in contempt or you admit to being in contempt, you could be punished by up to 93 days in the county jail and or a fine of $7,500 or both. That's the fine. That's the maximum penalty for both of the contempt citations.
93 days in jail. Calling it now. I'm watching this live with you all, and I swear, it's only a matter of time before she fires her public defender and goes full I'll represent myself mode. At this point, she's not even fighting the sentence. She's just talking herself into a corner. It's like sovereign citizens manifest this stuff, like they want it to happen. Drop your predictions in the comments. I'm curious what you all think. Let's dive back in and see how this meltdown unfolds.
Ms. Bridgman, do you comprehend the rights that you have that I outlined for you and the maximum penalties I outlined for you?
I think that I would like to wait. I have a call in to the state trooper that your office or the prosecutor's office called to investigate something with me. And I was on the phone with her and told her I had received the show cause. And she said, he can't serve a show cause. I shot over a copy of it. He can't serve a show cause because you're not under bond. This is from the state attorney general's office. I was still on the phone with her. I had filed the paperwork at 9 o'clock. She called me at approximately 10 o'clock. I was still on the phone with her till after 11 o'clock. And she told me that you could not issue a show cause because I was not under bond. Now I understand you have just precluded all of my common law rights by forcing me in the back door into your jurisdiction on this side of the court. And I know that this is not what was on the original document in its entirety. So you have amped up the charges based on the fact that I failed to appear, but I believed she was going to let you know. She was collecting information from me.
Playing dumb here has got to be one of the worst strategies I've ever seen. Like, what's the end game? Oh, I didn't know any better. That's your excuse for ripping up the show 'cause order and doodling all over it with your favorite red crayon? Ma'am, that's not a legal defense. That's arts and crafts. At this point, her last two brain cells are in an all-out brawl, and the referee clocked out ages ago. This is courtroom chaos at its finest.
Now,
Did you just understand what the judge asked you regarding those two charges?
Did you just understand that I think there's a bigger overriding issue? Thank you.
Hang on.
Thank
I'm
you.
not going to have this.
I'm going to fire him, actually, so thank you very much, because I will represent myself.
Okay. So you're telling me things in defense of the contempt citations, and you'll definitely have an opportunity to present any of
No,
that.
because you already,
Hang on, Mr. Villanueva, please stop. I don't want to have this be an argument between
Thank you.
and Ms. Bridgman.
I guess I just like to state that
well, I think we need to back it
she's
up.
pleading not guilty to both of those, and that she would
Okay.
like to request a hearing, that she would like to represent herself at that future
Okay.
hearing.
All right.
No,
Your
but
Honor, I
all
just
of my
want to-
rights were strongly impinged upon for even when I never failed to appear.
Okay. We're going to have a hearing where you.
She
can
was
present that.
working,
Okay, you're going to get your
Mr.
hearing.
Villanueva,
No,
I'm
this
directing you to
is-
stop
thank you.
arguing with Ms. Bridgman.
Okay.
I mean, it's a pretty serious thing to have to spend the night in jail, to be brought in handcuffs and everything else. When I was not being belligerent in that regard, she told me that it was not an authorized show cause.
All right. If she told you that, she didn't have the authority to do so. But anyway, that's for the later hearing. So
Well, she was
purpose is
investigating.
to-
Okay.
Today's purpose is to advise you of the 2 contempt citations. So do you comprehend the maximum penalty that those could carry and the rights that you have that I outlined for you?
Now, can I ask what statutes or what law or what are you saying here are the charges? Because this does not match. Sorry, I have a cotton mouth so bad. This does not match what the previous document was that you sent to me. And I have a picture of it on my phone, but my phone's not with me. Okay? It does not say.
I've told you the charges. I don't have to answer further questions about that from you. Do you understand the rights that I listed for you and the penalties?
Why have they changed,
I'm
Judge
not
Gaffney?
answering that question.
Can the prosecutor?
No,
Why?
I need an answer to my question. Do you understand that? So you said you want to represent yourself, right? You wish to represent yourself and not have an attorney represent you?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
If you want to do that, I must establish that you know what the penalties are and what your rights are. And I have to establish that you're not going to be disruptive to the court. If you refuse,
So are those?
then I'm going to appoint
I'm not
an attorney for
refusing.
you. Okay, then I would appoint an attorney for you and you'd not be able to represent yourself.
I know, I listened to that with Trevor's case.
All right, so I'm asking you, and you saw what
How
happened,
can I
Mr. Bridgman?
No offense to the judge. Here, and maybe this sounds a bit harsh, but I honestly wish he'd just stand up, give a little nod, and have the bailiff walk her straight to jail. Let's be real. She's not going to answer a single question. She's not here to participate. She's here to argue with oxygen. Every time the judge tries to speak, she cuts him off like she's running the courtroom. At this point, she's not just trying to defend herself. She's wasting everyone's time, and the patience in that room is hanging by a thread.
I first have to make sure you know what the maximum penalties are and what your rights are. Do you not?
Those maximal penalties are based on the charges, and I'm wondering how you arrived at a change in the charges.
I'm not answering that question. You know that you could face up to 93 days in jail and over $7,500 fine. You understand it.
Up to that. Okay, but I don't even understand what the charges are.
Okay. And do you have any questions for me about any of the rights that I listed, that you have to have an attorney and have a hearing and present evidence? Do you have any question about any of those rights?
I have a whole question about the whole context of everything today, Judge Gaffier.
It's really quite simple. When you have an order to show up for court and you turn in a cut up piece of paper of it to say you're refusing to attend, that this is what happens next. That's pretty simple.
Oh, did that offend you?
No, it did not offend me. It was a contempt of court.
It's a
It's not
common law
about
thing.
anybody's personal feelings. It's about the authority of the court to compel appearances, and you did not appear. So I do believe, based upon your answers, that you do understand the maximum penalties that you face and the rights that you have. So, Ms. Bridgman, Mr. Villanueva indicated that you wish to plead not guilty to those charges of contempt. I gather from your comments that you would agree that you're not pleading guilty. That's correct. Okay. All right, so we'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf to both contempt citations. We'll schedule this for a hearing where the prosecutor will present evidence, and you can present evidence in your defense. If you want to have an officer come testify on your behalf, you can certainly do so.
I would like to request a trial by jury.
There is no right to trial by jury in a contempt matter. So
Oh.
that request would be denied.
Okay, so then there's no chance to understand what you're charging me with prior to this hearing.
I've told you what you charged. I can read it again.
Am I the only one screaming at the screen right now, begging the judge to grow a spine? Like, seriously, how much more nonsense does he need to hear before shutting this circus down? I get that I might be a bit stricter than most when it comes to courtroom rules, but this is just getting out of hand. It's like the judge is getting paid by the hour and has no incentive to wrap it up. Meanwhile, we're all stuck watching this clown show drag on. At some point, enough is enough. Just shut it down and move on already.
Or any law that I have actually violated here.
Well, that's not required to be on a contempt citation. I've told you what the allegations are. If you want me to read them to you again, I will. I'm not
Okay,
gonna argue with you about what they
and
are.
the contempt charges that you're saying have changed from the first time?
No, there are two. One is the contempt for unauthorized practice of law and preventing Mr. Flores from meeting with his MIDC attorney prior to his arraignment. The second one is for failing to appear for the show cause hearing on that contempt.
So I only show one now.
What is
Okay.
what one you have?
And this is preventing. And how did you arrive at this at a later date than to issue a bench warrant?
Mr. Villanueva?
There's two items checkmarked here.
This is after the fact. So then you added a different charge than the previous one about the same date.
Ma'am, he read two charges. There's two charges marked here.
Excuse me. I probably have.
Wait, is she seriously flexing more degrees? Right now? Are we talking about Sovereign Citizen University, or did she just binge a McDonald's training video from 2012? Either way, this girl's IQ is about as high as a lukewarm bowl of soup, and she's acting like she's ready for a legal showdown. Meanwhile, her lawyer's just trying to make sure she doesn't get obliterated like a cheap folding chair in a WWE match the next time she steps into the courtroom. The contrast is real. He's trying to salvage what's left of her case.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
now-
I'm going to find that,
What on, please, Judge Gothier.
sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. So the first one was that I was practicing law. That was the first one. That's the show cause that you say I failed to appear for.
No, it was contempt for unauthorized practice of law and preventing defendant Flores from meeting with MIDC attorney prior to his arraignment. That was on the original.
No, I have a picture of the original one. This is why I'm not sure.
Do you have a copy of that show cause in front of you right now or no?
This one,
Would Your Honor like to see what she has
But-
here?
I just. so if
okay,
you don't-
so how do I defend?
Hang on. If you do not have in front of you right now a copy of the first show cause, I'm happy to provide a copy to you.
So how did you arrive at a second show cause?
Because you didn't show up. The second show cause is for failing to show.
But I wasn't on bond. So both show causes are not in effect because
I was practicing law when the first issue came up, which was the show cause that I failed to appear for. It was a contempt charge for unauthorized practice of law and for preventing defendant Flores from meeting with the MIDC attorney before being sent to prison. This was part of the original case. I actually have a picture of the original documents, so I'm not entirely sure about the details. Do you have a copy of the show cause in front of you right now?
No, the December.
sorry, that was before the December 20th.
Sorry. You may view this document. This is out of the court file. You may view it and then
So-
send it back.
Judge Gothier, do I have any other recourse to clarify where I was on that day and the information that I was going off of by your own investigator?
You do. You do. And
Okay,
that is a hearing date. Today, we're going to schedule a hearing date and you can present that evidence at that time.
and how will the hearing affect a trial by jury
As I told you, there is no right to trial by jury
for
in
a contempt charge?
So I
Oh,
can
so
schedule
this is a perfect, nice little tidy package for everything. I see.
She's eyeing those papers like she's about to rip them up and start doodling with her favorite red crayon again. At this point, every court doc is just another page in her personal coloring book.
Okay,
So I can schedule this for a contempt hearing on Thursday, January 11th at 2 p.m.
I think that would be way too soon for me. Thank you.
Why is that?
I need to get to some of the documentation and follow up with that, state trooper, as well as perhaps a few other people, because I'm guessing, am I supposed to just talk to the prosecutor without the other witnesses that I had in my presence at the same time?
I could schedule this for the afternoon of Thursday, January 25th, then. That gives you 3 weeks.
Thank you.
So we'll schedule this for a contempt hearing on both allegations of contempt on Thursday, January 25th at 2 p.m. And do I understand correctly, you do not wish me to appoint an attorney that you want to represent yourself?
And then who makes the decision? You make the total decision then?
Well, no, first you make the decision whether you want to represent yourself. As long
No.
as I'm convinced that you're doing so of your own free
Okay.
choice, that you understand what's going on and that you're not going to be unduly disruptive, then you'll represent yourself.
So what am I allowed to do at the hearing to defend myself appropriately?
You're allowed to present legal arguments. You're allowed to present witnesses to testify under oath,
Okay.
yourself or any other witnesses that you bring with you. If you want to subpoena a witness, if you're representing yourself, you can't issue a subpoena without the court's signature. An attorney can issue a subpoena on their own.
So
If
I
you want
can't
to
subpoena
subpoena
them.
somebody, what you would do is you'd go to the court clerk, they give you the paperwork, you'd fill out the subpoena. They would give it to me to review. And if it looks like it's reasonably, connected or relevant to the case, I would sign the subpoena and it would be given back to you for you to serve upon the person to compel their appearance.
I did not even get to watch the video that day because I was still on the phone with the trooper. And then people told me after I went up for Christmas that there was maybe a bench warrant, that you had issued a bench warrant. But everybody looked for it online at VineLink and couldn't find any bench warrant. So I was not trying to. I thought that trooper had told you what she told me, that I wasn't on bond, so I couldn't have a show cause.
Okay, well, that's all going to be sorted out at the hearing. Okay, we don't have to sort all that out today.
Well, that's a lot of overnight in being arrested downtown and everything for a misunderstanding that I would like to,
Mr. Richmond,
okay, I get it,
You're not
Judge Gothier, I know what happened,
You're
but
not fooling me. I've got the show cause that you apparently cut up into little strips.